Is there someone who's totally impacted your life, but you've never actually met? There's somebody like that for me, and I want to tell you her story. So it's 1932, and this sister's name is Sister Paula Cordero, and she's a 24-year-old religious sister in a relatively new congregation called the Daughters of St. Paul. And one day, the founder of this congregation, Blessed James Alberone, calls Sister Paula into his office, and he says, "Sister Paula, I want you to bring the Pauline mission to the United States of America." There's a couple of interesting things that go along with this ask. First, Sister Paula was a temporary professed sister, so she'd only just made her first vows, and in nun world, that's a pretty big deal that she wasn't perpetually professed. The second thing is that she had never really been far from home, much less out of the country. And the third thing is that she didn't speak English, and so some might say that was the most important point, but she spoke no English. But a short while later, and a lot of prayer later, she found herself on a boat with less than $5 in her pocket with two other sisters on her way to the United States of America. And when they set foot in the United States, it was 1932, and if you know anything about American history, it's not the greatest time to be starting anything at that point in time. But she found herself there at this point in history. It's what the Lord was asking of her. There's a lot of difficulty. There was a lot of suffering. There's a lot of discomfort. But I think that those moments and that experience for her caused a profound sense of faith. It was a profound sense of like, I will give all that I can, Lord, but I leave the rest to you. And that's how she lived her life. I never got the privilege of meeting this woman because she died the year that I was born, but the sisters quote her often and they talk about her all the time. She had this large looming presence. That sounds scary. She wasn't scary. She just had like a big presence and a low booming voice. And she would walk around where the sisters were working at the convent. And when confronted with a problem, the sisters would come up to her and say, "Sister Paula, what about this?" Or "What about this?" And she would always say, "Put faith, dearest." Put faith. That's the thing that stuck with me. The sisters quote it all the time, and I quote it now all the time too, and it's something that tumbles around my head. Put faith. When I'm facing a challenging situation, a situation that feels impossible, I'm called to put faith. When I run up against my own limitations, I'm called to put faith. When I don't know what to do with the situations in my family, in the church, in the world, I'm called to put faith. This doesn't mean that I cover my eyes and run away and just go, "God's gonna fix it." But it means to give the gift of who I am in daily life and to ask the Lord to do the rest. Especially in a season like Advent, I think of putting faith like Mary. I think about the amount of times that she had to put faith in the 9 months leading up to Jesus' birth. She had to put faith in the message of Gabriel. She had to put faith when God was fulfilling a promise in her that he made to his people Israel decades, generations ago. She had to put faith in Joseph. Joseph had to put faith in her. And through all of it, we see Mary giving the gift that she was, but allowing God to work in her and through her. And she put faith in that. I'm quite sure that despite her incredible faith, there are moments of difficulty and confusion and chaos. But Mary models for us a way to put faith in the Lord. She's the perfect model of that. And that's why the church says in the Catechism, paragraph 149, it says that the church venerates in Mary the purest realization of faith. And so if you're going through something difficult this season of your life, if you don't know what to do in your family, in the church, in the world, I encourage you to ask Mary to give you her heart, to cultivate a Marian heart in your own life, to put faith in the Lord so that as you search for more, that she might walk with you on the way to heaven.